our bass tracks, what we're working with is the bass amp and the bass DI. Quick clarification on what that means. The bass amp track is the microphone that is placed directly in front of the actual bass amp. Simple enough. The bass DI is the direct input of the bass. So meaning the cable was sent out from the bass guitar, and that dry signal, that direct signal, was captured, and then the signal continued on to the amp. That's a common practice. It's also not always necessary. You can totally have a killer bass sound just using the amp signal or just using the DI signal. But for us, we're using both. So let's hear now, before we dive in and get into the nitty-gritty, let's just hear where we're at. Listen to playback in context with our processed drums and our unprocessed bass. Cool. Sounds good. I think this is an excellent starting place. I'm excited to dive in and make it even better. First thing, let's spend some time and look at our bass amp track. Let's just hear it. Let's just hear it in solo really fast. Cool. There's a lot going on. You can see that I've made a bunch of adjustments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bands. The first one and most obvious is this big wide mid-range cut. Now, I should say that this general shape should by now kind of look familiar to you. This is kind of the same basic shape that we applied to kick, applied to overheads, applied to snares. I mean, not to snares, to the room. And the same kind of basic idea applies. You know, we're cleaning up the boxy, nasally mid-range frequencies, making sure that that's not overpowering these tracks. Let's hear what this frequency range sounds like in isolation. Yeah, let's engage this. And when we engage that band, it sounds a million times better. Feeling good about that adjustment. Let's move on. Looking to our left, you can see that I have made a dramatic boost in the low end of our bass. I feel like when I heard this, that this just was not full enough. This frequency range is only going to be occupied by the kick and the bass. I want it to really be impactful, really be present. So let's hear how significant of a boost that I have made, because it is significant. Let's hear it. Yeah, in isolation, hearing this frequency range, I mean, it sounds like we're underwater. Night and day. It might feel dramatic, but it really isn't. We need this area to shine. We really want to put a spotlight on this. So let's keep going here. The next adjustment that we have made is this high-end attack boost. The high-end attack, literally, of course, I'm meaning like the actual sound of a person's fingers or like a pick hitting the strings. We want that to poke through a little bit. Otherwise, we're running the risk of the bass just feeling totally buried in the mix. Okay, and then I added this low mid notch. I just gave it some extra hate. Let's solo this frequency. Boo. It's just completely unflattering. I'm not trying to completely decapitate it, but at the same time, like, I want to punish it for all the same reasons that we notched out that wide mid-range frequency. And then finally, we added a high-pass filter. Again, kind of similar to when we high-pass the kick drum. You might be thinking, why are you high-passing the bass? That's the whole point. We wanted to have low end, but same idea. It's just not necessary for the genre that we are mixing in. This is a singer-songwriter acoustic rock song, and 40, 50 hertz is already very low. It's already like more than enough. So I'm going to do us a favor and just clean up our processing, axe out everything below 20. We don't need it. And that is it for our bass amp processing. Let's see totally what we did. Here's some before and afters. Here's before. And then after. Oh my gosh. Yeah, way more focused, like not nearly as muddy and like nasally and honky. Feeling great about that. Let's move on to the bass DI. Sounds like it's like playing through a phone. Opening up the hood here, the general shape of this EQ, pretty similar to the general shape of the amp EQ that we just had. All the same ideas apply. I want to spotlight our fundamental low-end frequencies, 100, 110, 120, depending, and I want to spotlight the high-end action and just kind of clean up the mud of the mid-range, and that's exactly what we're doing here again. Let's solo this mid-range frequency range. Yeah, and then when we engage this, I just feel like it's a million times better. Let's keep growing. We get the idea. These lower frequencies, giving that a boost immediately feels better. Let's engage this high band. Oh yeah, solo that. Yeah, you can hear it. It's just that attack. It's just the attack. Great. And even notched out to this narrow treble frequency, gave that extra hate, and then finally added our high pass, all the same reasons. Before. After. Wow. I feel like this has been one of our biggest transformations yet. This is like night and day. So let's wrap this up and just hear some playback. Here is both of our amp and our DI signal played together. Cool. Things are sounding great. Just for fun, let's hear how we started turning off our bass processing, hearing playback with the drums. Wow. See, now I feel like how we started is very clearly just like a mid-range fart from the other side of the wall. Boo. And then turning on our processing, it just feels like a bass. It feels like how a bass should feel. It's taking up all the right space. And we're in a great place moving forward, guitars and keys. Those instruments all exist in the low mids and mid-range primarily. That entire range is so clear. I'm stoked with where we're at. I think the song is like already sounded great. It's like already totally coming together. Acoustic guitar is next. See ya.